to another episode of Real Estate Real Talk, where we give you the real tea on DXB Real Tea. This is Duha Al Isaid, your host, and this podcast is brought to you by Al Isaid Homes, where we offer estate and value. Our guest today is a very crucial part of Al Isaid Homes and a more crucial part of the marketing team. Welcome, drumroll. Nis.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today, and I'm very excited for this episode because it's going to be everything marketing.
Yes.
We're going to start off how we started off with everyone, which is your journey in this field and what made you join specifically real estate marketing.
Okay, so my name is actually Walaa, but I'm known for Nis, whatever makes you comfortable.
Right.
Actually, fun fact, my first ever job, and the job that made me discover that I enjoy marketing, was marketing in real estate, and that was like 6 years ago. I was a teenager back then, and I applied for the job because, you know, the problems that were happening in Sudan, blah blah blah, units were off, and then there was like just chilling, and then my cousin was like, the company next to us is hiring salespeople, and she called me at like 10. She was like, they're hiring salespeople and they're in real estate. Are you interested in that? I was like, why not? You know, just chilling at home. And I went in. And she was like, okay, the interview is in 2 hours. At that time, mind you, I did not have like a CV, work experience, zero everything.
How old are you?
17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I went in and I interviewed for the sales position. On my way back home, they called me and she was like, do you want to meet the CEO? I met that manager.
You said, do you want to be the CEO?
No, meet the CEO.
I was like, whoa. Okay, do you want to meet? Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. رجعت تاني. And he was talking about the position as like the manager was very impressed, and then I was talking to the CEO and he was like, okay, this is sales, blah blah blah, and then I was like, yes, and I know marketing, and my experience in marketing before that was all, my idea of it was common sense because I grew around it. So my brother had a marketing agency, my father was in marketing, so I grew around it, and I was interested in business, so I was studying business generally.
Okay.
And marketing is technically business development. So my concept of it was common, like I didn't actually know details, but it was my common sense, you know. And then we started discussing marketing. He was like, you know, I think like we have a position for marketing as well. Marketing as well. And he was the first person that brought my attention that I might be like good at doing this. And then I started that job, and after that I went back and I studied marketing deeper. So but before that I never studied it or anything.
So your first ever marketing experience was actually real estate marketing.
It was real estate marketing.
Interesting. And it's interesting that you say this, because I do think marketing is one of those industries that rely heavily on common sense. Like you can get all the degrees, certifications that you want, but as long as you don't have that marketing kind of like instinct in you, where you don't understand how to address the people and what would make them feel like they want to approach you, then it doesn't really matter.
I think this applies to marketing, to sales, and to business in general.
Yes.
No matter how much you study it, if it's not in you,
exactly,
I feel like it's just so much harder. So you can study it, but like for me, it was just like, that's my common sense. Exactly. And then I just found that my common sense was valuable to other people. So.
And that's so true, because I remember when I was first joining sales as an industry, and I kept reading all these books, training courses, manuals. And I remember every time I dove deeper, I'm like, hey, I know this.
Yeah.
But how do I know this? Or where do I know it
Yes.
from, right? Yeah, you're right. I think it definitely comes from just an internal, I guess, instinct. That's interesting. And then after that, you just held on to marketing?
I did hold on to marketing. So I was doing marketing and fashion parallel to each other.
Oh yeah, Linus is a stylist, actually. My own personal stylist as well. So shout out to Linus.
So styling came afterwards. So I was doing fashion design and marketing. And the reason I chose both, for me, it was the same thing. As I told you, it was common sense. It was like my brain process. When I'm designing something, I would obviously start from the person I'm trying to sell it to, and then come back to creating something that they would want to purchase. And when I am marketing a product, you also do the same thing. You start from the customer and then you create a product that the customer wants to buy. And this is the most effective way of marketing, is starting from the client and then going back to what does this client want to buy. And if you do it that way, you wouldn't give them a choice to say yes or no.
So it's backwards. Like you start with the target audience and then back into the product or the service.
Back into the product or the service.
Interesting.
So when you do that, you kind of eliminate the choice making, because I made this product tailored to you. So if I made a suit tailored to you, you wouldn't be like, should I buy this or not? But if I just created a suit and then put it out there, like, yeah, maybe I like this, maybe I'll, you know. But if I sat with you, knew what the colors you like, your style, how you like to carry yourself, and then I created that suit, the second you see it, you'll be like, yeah, that is what I want. So it's kind of making sure the choice is made. And this is what made me feel like I'm kind of doing the same job, but in two different contexts, but it's just starting from the customer and moving backwards to the product.
Very interesting perspective. And I believe marketing is the heart of every operation, right? I mean, sales as well, of course, but I feel like sales heavily depends on or relies on marketing.
Yes.
So marketing is definitely at the heart of every single industry there is, regardless of what it is that you're doing.
The way I see marketing is business development, because the purpose of marketing is to grow your business. And if you have right marketing, then you have right business development. And if you don't have right marketing, you might be getting in sales, but your business isn't growing. It's making money, but it's not necessarily it growing. So I see marketing as business development, and then whatever that translates to. Because if you want to develop your business, you want higher reach. If you want to develop your business, you want a higher market value. If you want to develop your business, you want to create more sales. If you want to develop your business, you want to have better brand image, you know? You want better positioning. So all of these things that are marketing are technically for the purpose of developing your business. And if you understand business development, then you're going to understand marketing, and vice versa.
And I love that you said that, actually, because that literally addresses my next question, which is, so the goal of any marketing scenario, whatever it is to, of course, generate ROI, right? So if it's just simply social media exposure, it gives you exposure, but does it give you revenue?
Yes.
Right? So I guess my next question would be, it's A and B. A, what do you think of these, well, I guess innovative social media reels that are going on to promote real estate? And I guess the reason why we have such out-of-pocket content being put out there, including us as well, right? Is because there's so much competition. So the only way to stand out is by being very different. Do you think that might eventually backfire? And B, do you think that is a strategic way to, turn or convert marketing into ROI or not?
Okay, I'll get to your question, but can we take a step back to be able to assess this fully?
Okay.
So if we compare my marketing experience now versus 6 years ago in real estate, the practices were very different. Like everything I did then, technically as promotional channel, they're all changed. So then I would go out and scout billboards. I would look for radio slots, TV slots. We would do SMS bulk campaigns. We would do, flyers and all of these things. And now it's heavily relying on social media. Even the campaigns are through social media.
Yes.
So, and when people say as I said, it's very different, but it's technically still the same, because the science behind it is the same. Like the understanding your client or your customer, the way you need to communicate, position yourself to be in those places so the person can see you. So now you need a lot more views, as you might say, or a lot of more content being put out there. But back then I would sit in front of billboard the whole day and see how many cars drive by. So it's the same volume of people seeing this, and it's the same purpose, but it's being
I guess digitalized,
addressed in a different way. So then the number of views is the number of people that pass through this. And in the stoplight, how many seconds do they stop? And in these 15 seconds that they're in this traffic light, are they able to read the content? But now it translates to a reel and how short it could be, because in their attention span, they need to be able for the message to be delivered in these 15 seconds. So it's technically the same, but it's just different platforms or different channels, promotional channels. So is it important? Then and now, it depends on, are you studying your clients right, and do you know your product right?
I love that.
So if you're positioning if then I was putting my ad in a billboard that nobody passed by, or there is no traffic light there, nobody's gonna see it, or it's gonna be, it's like there's a long waiting in it and the traffic light is only 15 seconds, the message won't be delivered. And now it's the same.
It's the same exact thing.
It's the same exact thing. It's just in this time that they're there, are you positioned first in the right position? And are you delivering what they can process at this time?
My second part was, could these innovative, or I guess you could say out-of-pocket approaches backfire at any point, especially in an industry that's so, I guess, delicate, like real estate, where you do serious business with millions of dollars. So do you think it may affect the serious look?
I don't think it can backfire. Obviously, if your positioning right, your communication is right, at the end of the day, you're not disrespecting anyone, you are actually delivering value. But this is what the market needs right now. As much as then, as I said, it's the same transaction, but for you to be able to put yourself in that billboard, you needed to have money. Okay? And that's why only brands with money
we're able to advertise.
Yeah, we're able to advertise and could have that positioning. Now you need other stuff, and you need like to be different and unique and creative to be able to stand out. You know, as much as you can buy those views or you can buy the reach, you can do like paid ads. If you're not gonna stand out, it's useless, because it's not one billboard. It's everyone's phone instead of the billboard.
Yeah, it's much more harder now, I believe, right?
Then it was harder because you needed money. Like then.
Well, yeah, in that aspect. But
in
terms of grabbing the attention now,
I feel like the challenge is as equal. It's because then to be able to grab that attention, you needed much more. And now it's just that effort translated or directed somewhere else.
And honestly, the way I look at it is, I mean, if you see those innovative, again, I'm going to use out of pocket because some of them are pretty random, right? If you see those reels, for me as an investor myself, that would immediately translate to me as, these people are creative, critical thinkers, problem solvers. And that will, of course, be someone I want to be on board with me. That's someone I want on my side. That's someone I want to assist me with transacting deals, properties, because if anything happens along the way, they'll be able to troubleshoot quick. They'll have creative solutions to it. So I guess that's me looking at the silver lining, but I do believe it's valid.
I do agree with you, but it's still, as you said, out of pocket. How out of pocket it is? Is it creative? Is it bringing value in a different way? Or is it just being, crazy for no sense? Like some people go out there and do stuff that are like, why?
True.
Like what's the purpose?
So I guess this is where my part B question comes in, which is, okay, so what are the best ways to make sure that these innovative marketing approaches convert to actual ROI? Because at the end, we want revenue, right? We don't just want views.
Yes.
So what do you think is something that agencies, including ourselves, could do in order to make sure that our approaches are generated as ROI?
I'd always say this, and I think you'd say this all the time. It's always about the value you bring. Everyone, like especially as businesses, you need to provide value to get value in return. And if you are providing value, you are going to get value in return. But you just need to focus on providing more value. Like through the advertising, through like every point of connection between you and the client should be like, oh, this is something that
100%.
something to me.
I agree with that
and
completely.
Then that how you build your credibility, your trust, and obviously they would want to transact with you if they feel like you're giving them already.
Yeah, 100%. I guess establish yourself as a knowledgeable person. Do you think it's more important? I mean, of course we can do both, but just from your perspective, do you think it's more important to put a reel that purely adds value, gives certain insights, information, or a reel that, has generic information and then a call to action?
I would say both.
Mm-hmm.
And by both is going back to
Mm-hmm.
see the differences. So then we used to have the billboard, but we also have SMS campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be strictly call to action.
Mm-hmm.
We have ABC, by this certain price, and people would call from that. These would be the campaigns out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand that now you have a promotional channel
Mm-hmm.
that all of this content should go in. So you do have the educational that would go out,
Mm-hmm.
which is awareness campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
In the past they were called. So you'd have a billboard with just your brand,
Mm-hmm.
These are like awareness campaigns. And then you'd have things for the customer to like knowledgeable. When I say adding value, I don't mean only knowledge. Entertainment can be value. A smile can be value. It's the impression.
Mm-hmm.
It's you made their day 1% better than before
Mm-hmm.
watching this. It's either knowledge, joy, they laugh, they had a good time watching you, enjoying you.
Mm-hmm.
And a call to action should be at every touch point. Subconsciously or consciously, it's either contact me, or it would be something subtle, but there has to be a call to action, or because people are lazy. I'm sorry.
You were very sure about wanting to say that.
People are lazy and they wouldn't do something that you don't ask them.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, almost a lot of people are willing to do what you ask them for.
That's very true.
So just ask them.
That's what I always say to the team,
Yeah.
right? About asking for reviews and
Yeah.
asking for referrals. Like, the chances are that they will not do that just like that, just from not being asked to. But if you actually put it out there, like, hey, if you know anyone else who wants to buy, or hey, can you scan this barcode and put a review, then 9 times out of 10 they will. Very interesting. I guess there's a difference, right, between branding and marketing to generate revenue, or are they one and the same?
I think it's all one. I believe in 360 marketing, which is everything affects everything. And if there is one missing key, everything will fall eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not covered on the market, if you're not covered on the clients, if you're not covered on the brand, if you're not covered on the sales, if you're not covered on the growth, if you're not covered on everything, everything is gonna fall.
Uh-huh.
So, and
it's like a puzzle.
It's like a puzzle, but if everything is right, this is when it's almost effortless. It becomes so.
It becomes automated.
It becomes automated, and if everything is right, it's like setting the foundation. And you know your market right, you know your customers right, you have your innovation, you have your creativity, you have your communication plan, and then everything is just gonna flow seamlessly, and decisions are gonna be so much easier. This is why I love like the 380 marketing. So it's just like, should we post this or that? As you said, the reels. Okay, what talks to my client? If the client is clear for me, I'm gonna know which one are they gonna choose. I'm not gonna think, oh, I think this, you think that. It's such an opinionated industry. As much as there's new people every day thinking what marketing should be, and everyone can feel entitled to be opinionated about it. But if you have the science straight and backed up, and because everyone's opinionated, it can distract you or make you feel like, oh, maybe I should do this, that, and then you would wear yourself thin. It's like, this is the new marketing tactic. This is the new, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to start a podcast, no. But
it's pretty overwhelming.
It's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why you need to get your science right, get your clients right, know your target, know what you're positioning. What you're offering, and where do you want to position that, and then this is gonna answer all your questions. So when it arises, which reel should we post? These things are does it tick the boxes or no? No, it ticks. No, it doesn't. So,
and do you think every agency should? And I'm just literally making this up as I go. But do you think every agency should have a niche or a specific target audience, or do you think it can be general to investors?
Agency can be very big. We're talking about like,
let's say boutique. Let's say our market. So we're talking about average of 20 to 25 agents?
I always think that having a niche in anything is so much better than not having a niche, just because you can focus your efforts. And that does not mean that maybe you can target multiple things, but I would say sticking down to a couple of niches is better, always better than, targeting the whole world, So if it's not one niche, it's a couple of niches, and maybe inside the agency there's like teams, one for every niche. But having a niche, it's just so much easier.
It is, yeah. I think it makes everything
like when you
much
target
more
your
clear.
efforts,
Yeah.
Results are easier.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Okay, so what advice would you give to agents or brokers who are, really trying to wing it by themselves, market themselves, who don't have a marketing team at their back to kind of help or assist with that? Yeah, first that.
Okay, so I would tell them that it's simple, don't complicate it. There's two things: your client, which is preferably your niche, and what makes you unique. So, and how can you align these two things? So you see your client, what makes you unique, and try to bridge the gap between that, and that's all what you need to do.
I remember once we had a meeting and you mentioned the importance of adding your own personal touch to your marketing, meaning something that's not industry related. Like, for example, doing real estate, something that's out of that. Can you just kind of elaborate on that a little bit, and what is the importance of it and why?
It's to make you stand out but memorable. So you want to be memorable as an agent, as anyone that's selling
and
something.
how is that memorable? Do you think it's memorable because you're kind of like humanizing yourself, or like relatability, or where?
It's humanizing, relatability, but it's also different connections. So if I know you as an agent, I know 1,000 agents. But if I know you as an agent that likes to cook, I know one agent that likes to cook, And then it's like also combining senses. So you want something else to remind you of this person. It's like smelling and tasting. If you smell something, you can probably taste it. So having what you are or what you do linked to something else, it kind of strengthens like the, in your brain, like there's more
the memory receptors.
Yeah, there's more tied there. So it's just like you're more memorable, because if I thought about someone that cooks, I'll think about the agent. If I eat, maybe I'll think about the agent. But also, if I want to remember the agent, he's going to stand out because it's just more than one thing connected at the same time.
So it would be to
be memorable, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And what advice would you give to investors or buyers who are looking at ads to make a purchase? I know, a tricky one. Alex, very tempting to market ourselves here.
They have to be very, very quick, right?
Look, try to vet out the curly hairs, okay? Brown skin, they probably got your back.
Yeah.
No, but on a serious note.
On a serious note, looking out for ads, honestly, it's a tough market. Okay, so advice to investors. Okay, I would say this. So in Dubai, we all know how the market is and what's considered realistic in the market.
Yeah, like all the like no one has a secret product.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So if you find something a little over promising,
yeah,
or like pay this percent, there's a lot of gimmicks in the market. A lot of people trying to let you put your number down for unrealistic prices, unrealistic offers, and I'm sorry, but you're gonna get played and you're gonna get spammed. So just wear out from these over promising. It's not like over promising, but unrealistic ads out there. I think like we all know what's the market is like, and we don't need to like.
And it's very annoying. Thank you for saying this, because I always have my clients sending me ads like, look at this. This 1%. Is how much I pay. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's really not. They're just trying to get you to put down your information so that they keep, basically. I guess when it's too good to be true, it's actually, in fact, too good to be true, right? Yeah. This has been extremely insightful. Thank you very much. Very grateful to have you here. And yeah, do you have any closing messages?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd love to be here. Any closing message? I would say that marketing is your foundation. So don't take it lightly. Like, make sure you build that foundation strong. Make sure you strategize. It will take you a long way. And if you're camera shy, I don't know, just get over it, I guess.
Unshy yourself.
Unshy yourself, because in this day and time, that's the medium we're working with. So
100%. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today
you.
in this. I think we're gonna have another episode with you. I feel like we covered the whole thing yet. As always, guys, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next Monday, inshallah. She made me memorize this line.
please.
Don't forget to subscribe, join the ride, Real Estate Real Talk, your guide worldwide.